Hotori is finally released as the second limited banner character in Neverness to Everness, and she is looking like one of the most busted supports in the entire game. So in this video, we will talk about how to play her, how to build her, alongside her best teams and rotation guide. So starting with her kit, Hotori is a Cosmos solid DPS, which means she can be played in 3 reactions: Remora, Blossom, and Charge. But her main go-to team will be Blossom teams. Her main role is a burst DPS who buffs the Blossom reaction, and yes, she stops time and literally copies other characters' redirect skills. Starting with her normal attacks are nothing special. You can perform a 5-string normal attack dealing Cosmos damage, but her redirect skill is where she becomes so special. After using it, she consumes 60 non-closed timepieces. It is the special energy bar she has, and yes, she does not work on typical energy. This is the energy source for her, which recovers with time. And after using her skill, you get a 5-second window where she can copy up to 3 skills. So how do you do that? You use her skill, then swap to 3 characters back to back and perform their skills. But it will only copy the skills, as you can see on the screen. But to actually use them, you have to perform her ultimate. Hotori's ultimate deals 10 instances of Cosmos damage and uses all the copied skills you did during her skill duration and also pauses time after that. Then you can just spam normal attacks and charged attacks to deal as much damage as you can during the time pause duration and end with a nuke, then swap back to the next character. Now, talking about her passive. Her first passive makes the Vita Bud attacks stay active even during the time pause duration. Basically, even if you pause time, the Blossom reaction damage will still take place. Her second passive increases the final nuke hit of her burst damage by 100%. Before talking about her team, let's talk about how to build her. For weapons, her signature Marching Beyond the Time is the best option, as it provides crit rate from its substats and gives additional attack and defense ignore after performing her burst, after copying different characters' skills up to 24%, which is massive and makes it a very solid option. But you can use other options. Fluff of Fearlessness is also said to be as good as her signature weapon in the Chinese beta. But if you have none of these, you can use Day Off or Hethereau's Keeper as alternative 5-star options. There is no good 4-star option, but as said, some of the 5-star options are free, so try to get them and use them on her. She deals a very good amount of damage, so try to give her at least a weapon with crit stats. Now, talking about her talent priority, you have to prioritize ultimate followed by normal attacks, and then skill. The skill is just for copying other skills, but for damage, her ultimate and normal attacks are the main source. Now, talking about console, Lost Radiance is her best in-slot option, boosting her damage by a lot as it provides Cosmos damage and 25% defense ignore. You can see the module structure on screen. For substats, you will be going for crit, attack, damage, and cycle intensity, which is the typical DPS requirement. Now, talking about her teams, her best in-slot teams will always be with the Blossom reaction, as she lets the Blossom reaction damage take place during her time pause duration. Also, being a Cosmos unit, it is one of her strongest reactions. Currently, the best team looks to be Nanally, Jiuyuan, and Zero. She can copy both Jiuyuan and Zero's skills, making the team structure way better. So here is how the basic rotation looks. You start with Hotori herself, perform her skill, then swap to Jiuyuan to trigger the first Blossom reaction, then do her skill in ultimate, then swap to Zero to do his skill in ultimate, then swap back to Hotori, use her ultimate, spam normal attacks during the time pause duration, then end with the finisher, and then swap to Zero, then Nanally to trigger Blossom, followed by Nanally's skill, ultimate, and spam her basics, fill her bar, and swap back to Hotori. You can change the rotation also depending on the enemy too. You can also replace Jiuyuan with Sakiri if you do not have her, or even play someone like Haniel for the last slot. Some important points: Hotori does not copy Nanally's skill, which gives the 38% crit damage buff, so using her skill is useless in the 5-second window.
Also, most of the main DPS damage skills do not work inside the time pause period. It is mainly for supports. As said, you can play her in different teams apart from Blossom, like in a charge setup with Hathor in the team, or Remora teams with Hathor as your main DPS. You can also play her in completely different teams like Nova teams, as she can actually copy Haniel and Fadia's skills, and we know how busted those skills are. So technically you can play smart and put her in any team where you need to copy support character skills. Even Sakiri's skill also works, which helps in grouping enemies and more. So yes, she could be very, very beneficial in Sakiri, Fadia, and Haniel teams as well. After the obvious teams, Nova teams with these characters actually look to be a decent option to play her. But after playing her for quite a good amount of time, she is looking like she will mainly be played with the Jiuyuan and Nanally composition as a dedicated buffer, and for now this will be the main reason to pull her. You can also play her as a main DPS, especially with her signature weapon, or if you are getting some of her awakenings. Then you can replace Nanally, add someone like Sakiri, and play her as the main DPS. The rotation would look like this: Hotori skill, then Jiuyuan skill, then Zero skill, then Sakiri skill. She will copy all these skills. After this, switch back to Hotori, perform her ultimate, and do the normal attack spam, then swap to Jiuyuan and repeat. This is also a very strong team if you really like her and want to play her as a main DPS. Now, talking about her pull worth, as said, currently there are very few characters in the game, especially for the Blossom reaction, so she might feel a bit restrictive, as if you do not have either Jiuyuan or Nanally, then you have to play her in an F2P team with Mint and Chiz. But as said, the game just launched, and we will get tons of new Anima DPS characters and even Lakshana DPS characters, as currently Hathor is the only one. The use of Hotori will increase a lot. So yes, for now, pull her if you have Nanally or Jiuyuan, or bet on her future value, especially with new Anima DPS characters. I hope I made it clear. Now, let's have a look at her awakenings. As said, being a limited 5-star character, her awakenings are similarly busted just like Nanaly's. Awaken 1 gives her increased time pause duration, and if you ask me, it is one of the most busted awakenings she has. For now, the best awakenings are Awaken 1, followed by Awaken 2 and 6. Awaken 6 is the strongest one, as it gives her the highest personal damage increase among all of them by ignoring 30% defense, which is huge. Awaken 4 is also good as it helps recharge her burst faster. As said, the only real reason you will be getting her is if you want to play her as a main on-field DPS. But if you are planning to play her as a main DPS, also try to get Jiuyuan too, as she is just insanely strong and a must for any Blossom DPS. Let me know if you have any more questions in mind. Also, if you want to discuss more, you can join our Discord server, link in the description. Till then,